Hey guys, it's Parker here, back with part 21 and 22 of the Great Ace Attorney 2. This video will be recorded once and it'll be cut into two parts. Okay, so Sean just told us to go to the prison and meet Fans 6. Oh boy. Yeah, we're here to find out what freaking happened. There is Zeeks over there. There he is, Lord Van Zeeks behind bars. So it's true, he really was arrested. He's sitting with his back to the wall reading something. I don't think he's noticed us. Lord Van Zeeks. Fancy meeting you here. The last place on Earth I like to be, with the last person on Earth I like to see. I couldn't very well not come. We heard what happened, that Inspector Gregson was... Go home. This has nothing to do with you. But... Forgive me, Lord Van Zeeks, but I must disagree. Inspector Gregson was very helpful to us on a number of occasions. We're in debt to him. At the very least, we owe it to him to find out the truth about his death. You must help us with our investigations, please. There's really nothing I can tell you. What were you just reading at the back of the cell there? Was it something related to the case? This? The artist isn't quite so cavalier with his information as to share case details with the suspect. This is a letter from an old acquaintance. Oh, who might that be? It's someone you know, as it happens, Albert Harebrain. Of course, yes, I keep forgetting they went to the same university. And I would like to read my correspondence in peace, so let's get this over with, shall we? What is it you want to know? Strange. I mean, let's face it, Lord Van Zeeks never minces his words, but they seem to have less bite than usual somehow. Oh boy, what happened? Can you at least tell us your side of the story, Lord Van Zeeks? What happened? How much do you already know? We know that the inspector shot dead in a small rented room on Fresno Street, and that you were found there by the police when they arrived on the scene and immediately arrested. We were told that there was nobody else in the room and that some witnesses heard the gunshot. Then you're well informed. And there's really nothing I can add. The truth is, I don't know what happened myself. But the gunshot, obviously you didn't fire the gun, did you? I'm not in the habit of shooting the people I work alongside. I also heard the noise, however. Before I had a chance to investigate, I was apprehended by arriving officers. So he doesn't actually know what happened. Was the gun in your hand? If I might ask, what are you doing in that place to begin with? I don't need to answer that. Oh. After all, you're not representing me. He is going to need a lawyer though. Your defense? Who's going to be presenting you in court, Lord Van Zeeks? Or he's defending himself? Anyone other than you, I should imagine. Would I be right in assuming that I have no representation as yet? Defense lawyers shy away from any trial involving the Reaper, as I'm sure you know. But this is different. In my career, of all the defendants I prosecuted, only 19 have ever been acquitted. Of them, 16 subsequently died in mysterious circumstances. Questions will be asked now. Surely not, I assure you. No defense lawyer wanted to touch me at the end of a barge pole. But you didn't actually have anything to do with those people's deaths, did you? It's been 10 years now that I've been known as the Reaper the Bailey. Believe me, nobody wants to know the true identity of this killer more than I, however. It seems things may come to a head before I have the chance to uncover the truth about that. What does he mean by that? After the trial, Professor Harebrain was supposed to go straight back to Germany, I thought. His letter to inform me of his safe arrival at home, I arranged his passage by sea and rail. It's a relief, I must say. He should now be beyond the reaches of the Reaper. Because the Reaper doesn't follow people abroad, you mean? Yes, so it seems. You stooped little Nibonese man, for example. You told me he's keeping well in Japan when I inquired the other day. Yes, that's right, he's an author now, happily working in Tokyo. So Professor Harebraine's safely back in Germany now. Yes, we have just established this, he is. So, it appears like conversation has run dry. There was a 2-second silence, that's all. Well, in any event, if you excuse me now, I wouldn't like to detain you. I was wondering, Lord Fantasies, if you like, I'd be happy to advocate for you. You trust me, do you? Yes. I've heard you speak many times in court. I've seen how you treat people. So I'm quite sure that you never have taken another's life. It's just, my feelings can't be used as evidence in a court of law, sadly. It's a very gracious offer, however. I trust no one. What? Not the police, not the judiciary, and not you Nipponese. But please. I have no intention of engaging your services. The chasm between us is just too wide and too deep, it seems. I'd appreciate it if you don't visit again. Then neither of us will waste any more time. Perhaps you dig a little deeper and find out more about Lord Fantasies and what happened to Inspector Gregson. Well, I can understand not trusting anyone if you have been hurt. But, I don't know. I feel like you should trust some people who are willing to help you. This really isn't out of the way part of London. I doubt many people find their way down this back street. So this dust-ridden, rented old room is where it happened then. Why is there a red wig over there? So this is where poor Inspector Gregson lost his life. Yes, and the police are already hard at work investigating, it seems. I don't see Mr. Sholmes anywhere though. Just a picture over there? I'd like to examine that. Perhaps this investigation is taken elsewhere. Oi! What do you think you're doing there? Every one of the jars is gonna be taken right out back out so you can't look underneath and all. I'm sorry, I can't do this. I'll just space it with the ceiling check, then don't forget to look inside the chimney stack too. Blimey! Ain't you lot ever gone over a house looking for dough when the owners are out of town? Gina, I think you're the only one that did that here. Gina's obviously got some unique investigative techniques she wants everyone to adopt. Oh, so you turned up last. Mind you, I ain't been here long myself. Hello again, Gina. Shows us only just left. You're lucky I missed that. You know what, prancing around here, pointing at stuff and flicking that out of his and then Scarpered. Oh, he's finished investigating already, you mean? Yeah, he didn't stop saying nothing to no one, not even me. Gina, would you mind if he investigated too? Listen, Aldo, you're a lawyer, right? Yes, why? Well, you're not thinking of trying to help the Reaper block, are you? Oh, poor Gina. She's never going to forget, is she? That trial will haunt her forever. Gina, if you don't mind me saying, if Lord Fantasies really is responsible for this crime, he will be duly and fairly judged in court. I suppose you're right, yeah. Go on then, Aldo, get investigating. I want to know the truth about what really happened here. Thank you, Gina. Oh boy, I guess we could talk to her and then investigate. Gina, what is Mr. Gregson doing here in the first place? That's what I want to know. It's what, half a year since I got out the clink? That's when I decided to give up on me diving and become a detective instead. Oh yes. Mr. Sholmes twisted the inspector's arms to agree to take you on as an apprentice, didn't he? I can't read today. Something like that, I think. Anyway, the point is, I didn't really know much about the boss till then. But it turns out, he's a bit of a legend at the yard. Goodness, really? They say he managed to solve some really tricky case, just like that. He did? Yep. And ever since then, he started going out on all sorts of investigations, but always on his own. No one else at the yard even knows what half the case he's working on are, apparently. That's not how it's supposed to work, is it? So what's the legendary inspector doing in a dingy little room like this? I know he had a lot of respect for the Reaper and all, and look what ever delighted him. Respect for the Reaper? In what way? I heard him say as much. I take my hat off to the fellow over his words. not how the general public feels, is it? Most people are terrified of the Reaper. Yeah, the boss said that's exactly how he respected the block. I didn't realize Gregson held the Reaper in quite such high regard. He said something else to me and all, that he didn't need to worry about the Reaper because he only goes after people that are bad. It did kind of sound my mind at ease when he said that. Right. What is this place then? Does anyone live here? Apparently it's been rented by some coal called Hugh Boone. Huge Boone? Hugh Boone? It's sort of here today, gone tomorrow named that, isn't it? Yeah, he's what you call an unidentified person. We haven't been able to get in touch with him. I see. Well, judging from appearances, I have to say this place hasn't been lived in for a long time, if ever. Right? All the lads over in the yard piled down to get stuck into the investigation, but there's so little here. No one knew what to do with themselves. I do wonder. Yes, Mrs. Sato? Well, could it be that this Hugh Boone is in fact Inspector Gregson himself? What? How could that be? Well, if he was investigating on his own, it's quite possible that this was in fact some kind of secret office of his. I'd never even considered that. I mean, there's some papers in the back. Nice work, Suze. You've actually following a line and inquiry like that ourselves. You are? If you look around the room, you'll see just a few things that hint on it. We should really investigate this place in detail. We will do that after talking with Gina. I see that's where the poor inspector is found over there. I guess he was sitting down and he kind of slumped when he got shot? Yeah, that's right. They said it was a single bullet what did him in. Apparently the bullet went right through and it stuck that cattle tree in the wall. Oh yes, this blown one of the cattles apart completely. And the gun used is there on the floor. It's the Reaper's, isn't it? No denying that. What? Really? How do you know that? Take it easy. I don't know what to do with myself when he's staring at me with the big wide eyes. I'm only saying what I've heard. I don't know much about guns myself. But there's some bigwig lawman or whatever who says so. Why don't I ask him? A bigwig lawman, is it? Anyway, Fresno Street runs along under that window there. There were some street sellers just as I heard the gunshot. Oh, but I don't recall seeing anybody outside. Yeah, they've all been taken out of yard for questioning, that's why. We're talking about the yard's legendary specter here after all. They'll be getting grilling. Do you think you might be able to speak with those street sellers ourselves? I doubt it. The lads of the yard will just want to know what you're snooping for. You'll be up for grilling and all. So we can't interview the witnesses then. Shame. Okay, let's examine. We haven't examined it in a long time, haven't we? I suppose it must be a picture of one of Inspector Gregson's family members. Ah. What's the matter? Your eyes look like they're gonna pop out of your head. They are! Look! Miss Naruhodo, quickly! Isn't that juror number 2? Why do I feel like this woman is familiar somehow? Of course she's familiar. You met her only this morning. It's Evie. Vigil. Virgil? Ah, it's Mrs. Vigil. This makes no sense. Why would there be a picture of Mrs. Vigil in here? Huh? To be frank, I don't think I've ever been more stumped. I'm sorry to say I have no idea either. What? Why is Mrs. Vigil here? What? Don't mind me, just looking everywhere. An empty fireplace makes the room feel even colder than it would be otherwise, doesn't it? It's thick with dust, look. I think it would be fair to say it hasn't been used in a very long time. In other words, whoever lived in this room must have been extremely hardy in cold weather. Or nobody lived here at all, and merely visited when the occasion rose. I would like to say which is more likely. No, that's right, it's one or the other. This looks like some sort of notice board or something, and it's absolutely covered in scraps of paper. Ah, Miss Naruhodo, look! This, you mean, is an autopsy report, isn't it? And these are case notes here, and details of present inmates. Yes, in fact, there are all sorts of documents that only a detective could normally acquire. What on earth went on in this room? Some old newspaper cuttings. Ah, this one here. Oh yes, the advertisement to the Redheaded League? But why? What's that doing here? Whoever occupied this room was clearly interested in this for some reason. Excuse me. Oh, Spectre. Oh, sir. Poor man. He can't possibly be able to focus on investigating. He's so upset. Man. Excuse me? Sorry, sir. Can't see a thing, sir. Too many tears, sir. Right, I better leave you to your work then. Oh man, I'm so sad now. They're all sad for Inspector Gregson. Okay, let's examine the candle. The top of one of the candles, the candle holder has been completely blown off. Yes, there's wax splatter on the wall behind, look. I suppose a bullet hit it. It does seem likely that a bullet hit the candle, having first passed through the inspector's body. Ugh, now that the wax on the wall looks like blood to me. Okay, we can't really examine that. I wanted to examine this. There's some black marks here, look. Yes, they look like some sort of scorch marks. So perhaps the bullet struck the candle here, do you think? It's only just one candle that's cracked in half, it seems. Yes, I think you might be right. Firearms are rarely used by criminals in Japan, so I'm afraid I'm not particularly knowledgeable about them. But why is only one candle? Why is only one candle longer than the rest? Shouldn't all the candles be equal? Shouldn't you use like 3 of it at once? Okay, the windows. Somebody's very upset to nail those boards over the broken glass, haven't they? You couldn't even really call it a window anymore. Well, if you remember the window in Mr. Natsume's room, that was totally blocked up with bricks. This one does at least, you could say nothing more about it. I'm starting to feel even more sorry for Mr. Natsume now. Excuse me? If you're looking down on us from the great beyond, Inspector, don't worry, we'll look out for things at the yard. I've interrupted some deep thoughts there. Okay, let's actually look at the crime scene. I've been trying to avoid the crime scene for a while because I'm sad, but here we are. So I suppose this is where the victim... That's right, the rope is weighted around her body to show exactly how it was found. Poor Inspector Gregson himself has already been taken away, and would probably be under Dr. Sai's scalpel by now if not for what happened last week. From the shape of the rope, it would appear the inspector is curled up in a ball. Oh god, like seeing this makes me sad. Are you alright, Mr. Naruhodo? You look like you just seen a ghost. I know it's just a rope, but well, it conjures up quite a terrifying image, that's all. Especially with the blood stain next to it. Oh, I do understand. In some ways, what we picture in our minds can be even worse than reality. Susato-san is so strong though, she's taking this far better than I am. Yeah, Susato's very mentally strong. Ever since we came in here, I can't take my eyes off this thing. And she could even like throw a grown man with her martial arts, so yeah, she's pretty strong. Oh, funny enough, neither can I. It's a hairpiece, isn't it? It's a red hair wig. It's a bright red hairpiece. I suppose the fact that it's right there, next to where the body is found, means you have to expect that Inspector Gregson wore wigs, does it? He wore the wig for the Red-Headed League. And such a flame-colored red, too. Yes, there's a color we come across very recently elsewhere, isn't it? Exactly, this is a vital clue, I'm sure of it. Okay, I wonder if we could examine... this freaking wig. I've actually never worn a wig before, so this is fascinating to me. I've always wondered what the underside of a hairpiece looks like. That doesn't surprise me at all, Miss Naruhodo. You always want to see what lies beneath, don't you? I'm not sure that's quite how I put it. You must have used lots of bird line to keep it in place on your head. So it doesn't get blown off in a gust of wind, I mean. That might be a little inconvenient when you want to take it off again, don't you think? Well, I'm not knowledgeable of wigs at all, so I'm not sure what this is. But interesting. Oh boy, okay. This toy? What's this? It would appear to be a little model policeman. It's sort of charming, isn't it, in a way? Seeing as it's on the floor here, do you think it belonged to Inspector Gregson? It's a little hard to imagine Lord Vancy's playing with something like this. It's only about 8 centimeters tall. It could have fallen out of someone's pocket, I suppose. I think we should record as evidence just in case. Yes, I agree. It is rather delightful after all, in a way. Okay, why don't eat salmon? The figure. I don't know why I talked like that. Wow, it looks pretty old. The helmet of this charming policeman appears to be a little worse for wear. I'm not convinced about the charming part, but yes, you're right. The headboard looks like it's been fairly heavily manhandled. Almost as if someone had enjoyed twisting around and around for fun. Shall we try twisting around and around too for fun? Huh? What's that? It appears to be some sort of key. But it's tiny though, it couldn't be a key for a door, not that size. So what is it for, I wonder? What? What in the world is this? Don't tell me it's a gun. This looks like some sort of key. Yes, it does. A very tiny and simple key. What's the little key doing inside figuring a policeman in the first place? And what's it for? I have no idea. Okay. Well, that was interesting. Okay, the gun. This is presumably the murder weapon then. Oh my, it is real, I suppose? I think so. Guns are so rare in Japan, I really know very little about them. There's one way to know for sure, Mr. Naruhodo. Fire a shot! No, if I did that, I'd be looking for a skilled lawyer to represent me in court. Slightly safer just to ask someone might know, I think. I'm just gonna go everywhere. Flashback to me, just going to random locations while investigating when I was in high school, playing my first Ace Attorney game. You made good time. I took an express train back to London. What? I can hear Lord Strongheart, can you? Yes, it sounds as though he's talking to someone. Oh, it's Kazuma. Is everything in place? I had a private compartment of the train so I could check out the paperwork. It's Kazuma-sama. Ah, your timing is impeccable. It is? No doubt you've heard the sickening news about the Reaper's latest devilry. Yes. I'm sure you don't believe it, of course, though, Lord Strongheart. That Lord Francis could have done such a thing to Inspector Gregson. I believe only in the facts, and the facts in this case point to one thing. The unavoidable accuser of Lord Francis for this crime. He must bring charges against the Reaper for taking the life of our legendary detective. Oh no, surely not. It's a truly regrettable situation. Tomorrow, the forensic science symposium finally begins. At the very least, though, we could show the world our justice system's swift and equitable processes. So does that mean the trial's tomorrow? Precisely. In fact, it's a fine opportunity for introductions. Kazuma. Ah, but of course you're already acquainted, aren't you? Is Kazuma gonna be prosecutor? Leading the prosecution. I knew it. Wait, what? Kazuma? As I'm sure you're aware, he's a very capable practitioner of law. Kazuma-sama, a prosecutor? This girl outside is like calling very loudly. Okay, I'm sure you can imagine that tomorrow's trial will be closely followed all over London. In fact, no. Oh, whoops. Whoopsie wopsies. People all over the King Empire will be watching closely to see how it unfolds. There's no salvation for anyone a trial prosecuted by the Reaper at the Bailey now. The Reaper himself must stand in the dock. Quite so. Whoops, I think I read his Strongheart's voice the whole time. The public wants answers about the Reaper. answer about how and why those who escaped conviction subsequently died mysterious deaths. But Lord Van Zieks firmly denies any involvement in such matters. And there have been thorough investigations that have been proven to him to be innocent. That's certainly true, or has been at least until now. No, tomorrow's trial will mark the start of a new chapter in our country's great judicial history. Why do I feel like Strongheart did all this? Why do I feel like Strongheart just like orchestrated everything in order for the symposium to happen on Van Zieks' trial? So Kazuma will be prosecuting tomorrow? Like, I don't trust Strongheart right now. That's right. But he's a defense lawyer, Strongheart. Like, I don't trust Strongheart for some reason. Like, my stomach, my guts are telling me don't trust this guy. Accomplished young law protectionists cannot pick and choose their roles. I imagine it will be for the prosecution to know the strategies commonly employed by the defense. A devastating combination, wouldn't you agree? Absolutely. I have no doubt at all that Kazuma will be razor sharp as a prosecutor. But why Kazuma-sama? There are surely many other highly skilled prosecutors in Great Britain. It was a personal request. I asked to be assigned to the trial. You asked for this, but why? It'll all become clear tomorrow. I guess you intend to stand for defense, don't you? Although, the Reaper appears to be turning down all offers of representation. I'm not sure how to voice Kazuma. I'm surprised such a personal request would have been upheld. It seems unprecedented, quite exceptional in fact. You are quite right, Miss Mikotoba. Tomorrow's trial will be unprecedented and exceptional in every way. After all, the accused is one of Britain's greatest prosecutors, the pride of the empire. It would be unwise to give the public a reason to perceive it as a judiciary closing ranks. So that's why you're happy to let a foreigner handle the prosecution? Ryunosuke, sorry. Let's see how your skills have been honed after practicing law in this land for so many months. Kazuma, I don't understand why are you being so hostile to me now? This isn't going to end well, my friend. Wow, this is like a trope where your best friends send enemies to and then to lovers. Anyway, oh yes, we noticed that there was a gun at the scene of Inspector Gregson's desk. Do you know if it belongs to Lord Van Zieks? That would be a question for the lead detective investigating the scene. Well, the thing is, she wasn't sure, so she told me I should ask somebody higher up who might know. That's right, Mr. Naruhodo, be direct. It's certainly a model that's issued to all personnel involved in law enforcement, yes. Which includes prosecutors, as I'm sure you can imagine. So other law enforcement people could have had it. It could actually have belonged to the victim. No, Gregson had his gun on his person. What about Lord Van Zieks? He claims he's currently not in his position. What? According to his story, he lost it. In short, it's more than a little suspicious. But just because the gun in question is the same type as the defendant's is no proof that it's actually his. No, of course not. Nevertheless, the situation is grave for Lord Van Zieks. Oh boy. Yeah, we just talked about the gun, and I don't really trust Star right now, so I'm not gonna present anything to him. Okay, let's just go everywhere, see what happens. Okay, never mind. I forgot that you could talk to Kazuma if you examine. Alright, Kazuma, let's talk. I'm sorry for all the worry it cost you, but it'll be alright now. Has your memory completely returned? Yes, completely. I remember everything. Including what I was coming here to do. Right. Kazuma-sama, I can't tell you how happy I am to see you alive and well like this. But, how did you come here to be here in London when you're suffering from amnesia? It was the voice. This past year, I've been hearing my head constantly saying the same thing over and over. Go to London. That's where destiny awaits. What? It was that voice that guided me here to London. I'm so sorry for what's happened. Anyway, my memory might have returned to me, but there's something that won't return to the way it was before. Huh? What do you mean? I'm a prosecutor now, so I'm sure our paths will cross again very soon. It doesn't look like we're going to glean much more here. Well, thank you very much for the song art. Remember, tomorrow's trial will go down in Empire's history. Just much you can learn from the public gallery. Sorry I'm taking up so much of your time. We'll see ourselves out.
Hold it!
Before you go, Ryunosuke. Oh, what is it, Kazuma? I just wanted to thank you. Kazuma-sama, what? You took my determination to heart and brought it with you over the ocean, I said. And you carried out my role to perfection. You always were intent on studying British law in order to change our own justice system. It was a dream, and Miss Naruhodo didn't want to die with you. Yes, but I had another purpose for coming here. Oh. I actually have a favor to ask, which is, this trial will be prosecuting tomorrow. I need to be there to see how it ends, right in front of me, as the defense counsel. Why? What's this all about? I know you have what it takes. But Lord Van Zieks never put his fate in my hands. On the contrary, he recognizes your talent. He does? It's not easy to see behind the facade sometimes. Here, have a look at this. Oh, it's Inspector Gregson! That's Lord Van Zieks and Inspector Gregson. And a photograph that must have been taken some time ago by the look of it. And who's the third person? It was displayed very prominently in the detective's office. In Gregson's office, you mean? Yes, what I'm trying to say is, if you really think you can trust the Reaper, you might find that some straight talking makes him take a different view. Take it. Oh, I guess we're gonna present it to Lord Van Zieks? I don't understand. Why are you giving me this? Just hurry, Ryunosuke. Visiting hours at the prison are almost over. What are you doing, Kazuma? I guess that's it. Man, they look so happy. It's so sad, man. Alright, move.